me, I'm not tall enough for that. The President and the office bearers of the Bar Council of India, of the Bar Association, the Bar Council of Punjab and Haryana, and all my dear friends. I won't mention everybody because I was told by Mr. Anupendra Dewal to be quick and finish. Oh, before I start, please allow me 1 minute of being a little nostalgic. When I was invited by Mr. Alawat, I was very moved, firstly, that I still remembered after 6.5, 7 years. Secondly, on this very day, exactly 10 years ago, I flew into Chandigarh with my family to be sworn in the next day, that's 15th of December, as the acting Chief Justice of our great High Court. So for me, this is a very nostalgic day itself, very significant. And it is a blessing for me that this day falls in the 555th year of Guru Nanak Dev Ji's birth anniversary, the 75th year of the Constitution of India, and the 165th year of this Bar Association. Bahut bahut mubarak and all the best. And one quick word, it was mentioned that I have a smiling face always. Actually, I am not given to smiling. It's just that the hospitality and warmth of the people of Punjab and Haryana and Chandigarh bring that out in us. And thanks to all of you for having me here and to share a few words. Let me also tell you at the outset that the few thoughts that I have are not going to be very academic or scholastic. I will leave that to the other speakers. I just want to share a few simple thoughts as far as the topic is concerned. Conferences like these are of course necessary to celebrate and recognize all your achievements. But the more important thing is to strengthen the judiciary and to protect it against the future. There is a hierarchy of courts, no doubt. I know Justice Abhay recently said that the Constitution should be amended to do away with the word subordinate judiciary, but at the moment it is there in the Constitution. There is a hierarchy of courts, but all the courts act together to constitute the judiciary. Neither the higher judiciary nor the subordinate judiciary acts on its own. So they form the judiciary. And the judiciary, in unison with the bars, various bar associations, form one composite whole, and that is the justice delivery system. So nobody can do again without the other. Now, there are essentially about 3 judgments of the Supreme Court, which I will not bore you with just now by reading out passages from it, but they come out with some very important aspects which you all know, but it's always nice to reiterate it, and that's why the Supreme Court reiterates sometimes what we think is the obvious. The district courts and the courts subordinate to the district courts are the court of first instance. They are the courts where the litigant first, which the litigant first approaches. They are the foundation of our system, and therefore the system cannot function without a proper foundation. The Supreme Court has also time and again mentioned the need for the high courts to make sure that the subordinate judiciary is well looked after, cooperated with, and made stronger. We all know 2 things, and that must be again reiterated. Every litigation is as important as the other, and every litigant is as important as the other. quite simple. For a person who has a 50,000 rupee litigation, it may be more important than that day changed me entirely. I started not only doing my administrative work willingly, but liking it. As you get senior, you realize more and more how important it is, because you actually have what the Registrar General said is you are abdicating your constitutional responsibility, especially under Article 235. Now, he actually was echoing the words of the Supreme Court, which were given much later. Now, therefore, the first thing is, and a lot of my colleagues say, oh, what do people do after court hours or before court hours? Nothing. Let me assure you, the members of the bar, that the administrative work is as crippling, as demanding, as heavy as the judicial work during court hours. So please, let us get this clear, that your district judge and all the judges in subordinate judiciary in the High Court work as much outside court hours than they do during the court hours. But this is necessary to know for a proper understanding between the bar and the bench. Now the important part in this topic is that the relationship between the High Court and the district courts and the subordinate courts is symbiotic. Each one benefits from the other. At least speaking for myself, I can tell you that as a Chief Justice also, I would not have been able to function without the assistance of our judges from the district courts. I used to lean heavily on them. I always told Justice Sanjay Kaul that one of the best things he left behind for me, for instance, was an outstanding Registrar General, one of the best that I've ever seen. Now, of course, Justice Gill in the Punjab and Haryana High Court. I used to lean on him on everything. All the people in the registry would be constantly giving us a feedback. Now, why is that so? It is impossible for a High Court judge to know the ground realities in all the districts and all the talukas. It is a district judge who knows it. It is the additional district judges who know it. It is the DMFC in many cases who would know it. The civil judge senior division, they know it. They know what is required in a particular district, and they know which district or taluka requires a court. Now, this is as far as the administrative part is concerned. Of course, make no mistake, a lot of our administrative work is done also on the basis of the input from the Bar Association. I think met the Bar Association in Amritsar itself way back, I think within 3 months of my coming to Chandigarh. And, right? At the circuit house, one of the circuit house that we had, and I come to the court. So, the exchange keeps taking place. Now, there is one important thing which we have to remember. I think the President mentioned about how important the trial court is. There is no doubt about it. Remember, irrespective of the litigation, whether it's a high-stake litigation or a modest litigation, makes no difference to a judge. He has to take each litigation as seriously as the other. But the litigant's case, 90% of, to an extent of 90%, gets crystallized in the trial court. It is here that, and drafting the pleadings is probably the most important thing. In that sense, I was fortunate to be on the original side, because that's not the appellate jurisdiction, it's original jurisdiction, so we have to do the pleadings and the trial. Not many trials happen, at least in the Bombay High Court, just not because of this sheer workload, actual trial. But your cause of action has to be there in the first place. The defense has to be there in the first place. Your documents have to be there. Your cross-examination has to be effective, because in the appellate court, it may be too late for the appeal court to allow you to remedy your case. Very often the case is destroyed because of a bad hearing. So there's no doubt about it that in the district courts and subordinate courts of first instance are the most important. They really are the foundation for the case. Now, let me take this opportunity to clarify one thing. I started receiving WhatsApp messages from all over India congratulating me for certain views that I had expressed at quite a few functions. It was very embarrassing. Those views are correct, but they were not mine originally. It was a quotation from somebody else. But I got the credit unnecessarily for it. But that quotation, in fact, illustrates what the president of the Bar Association said. Two great advocates. One was G. Ramaswamy, the former Attorney General of India, and the other was K.S. Cooper, one of the most outstanding lawyers of the Bombay High Court ever. Both of them said that the complete lawyer is the trial court lawyer. So now, please don't, that applause is for them. Thank you. Otherwise, I'll again get WhatsApp messages saying that I've done it. Because I remember Mr. Cooper saying that a person with average intelligence and average command over the language, averagely articulate, can always argue an interim application. He can argue a writ petition. He can argue appeals. The trial court lawyer has to have all these skills and much more. And he has to be far more agile, because in the midst of cross-examination, he has to be on his feet, which we on the appellate level don't have to do that much. And the other quote, who also attributed to me wrongly, was what Mr. K.J. Abhyankar, one of the greatest lawyers on the appellate side, right? So he was not a trial court lawyer, but he saw the value of the trial court lawyer, and he said that the trial court lawyer is the artist, the appellate court lawyer is the art critic. So now you see the importance of your role in the whole system. When we come to the role of the district courts and the bar associations in upholding access to justice and rule of law, we must remember that the traditional role of the judge has changed entirely over the years. It is now not just decision making, it's not just resolution of disputes, it's not just judging. There are so many other things that are required to be done at this level. And take the simplest example, the introduction of the Legal Services Authority. As a Chief Justice, I saw the enormous amount of work being done by our district judges, by the district judiciary, in organizing the camps, in giving the assistance, and all this they have to do while they are doing their judicial work. And on a lighter vein, when at least we earlier used to say that a matter has to be disposed of in 6 months' time, he has to do that, plus he has to do all the extra work. There is and I'm told that in fact in some states at least, I don't know what it is like now in our state over here, but the secretarial assistance is also not available to them. Now, when we talk about access to justice, let's keep all this in mind. It is not just the judicial work, it is all the other things also that both the bar and the bench act, because there are so many lawyers who are involved in the Legal Services Authority. The Supreme Court has rightly talked about the district judiciary being treated with dignity and the conditions of service being good. no doubt about it. This brings me almost to the last part, and to a large extent it's really close to my heart, and it is really important. The system cannot function without mutual respect. And mutual respect intersects the judiciary and mutual respect between the judiciary and the bar. If, for instance, the judges of the High Court don't show respect to the district judge, the civil judge senior division won't respect the district judge. If the district judge does not respect the civil judge junior division, the JMFC won't respect it. And ultimately, if nobody respects even the JMFC, the public will not respect any of us. And that is why it is important that there is always respect between all of us, and I'm sure there is. At least I never saw any instance of any lack of this. It's always good to remember it. Mutual respect, mutual trust and cooperation, and this is to my mind the most important, between the judiciary and the bar. Of course, it is a two-way traffic, no doubt. But increasingly, it is necessary to remember this and to keep this in mind. I am not for a moment suggesting that judges don't have to do it and only lawyers must do it. No, it's both ways. And I can best illustrate this with an incident that took place in the Supreme Court many years ago. After we finished our matter, we were having lunch at the hotel. A whole group of us, lawyers. And on a Friday when SLPs get over fast and everybody gets free and the others came to the lunch table. And one of them said, they all how we are at the bar. And I said, I'm now with you. So one of them came and said, oh, this Justice so-and-so gave this lawyer so-and-so hell. And somebody laughed. And somebody said, yes, I also heard that this Justice so-and-so gave the lawyer so-and-so hell. The former Solicitor General of India, Mr. Dipankar Gupta, was at our table. He was the only one who didn't laugh. He sat quietly. And then after everybody left, he said, I have never understood what this means for a judge to give any lawyer hell. A lawyer has a case on one side, he argues it. The lawyer has a case on the other side, he argues it. And the judge's duty is then not to give either of them hell, but to decide. Correct? Look at it on the other side. Another incident. That's why I said it's a two-way thing. There was a very heated and unpleasant exchange at one stage. Very rarely happens at that level, but one of the most polished, outstanding advocates of our time, very quiet, very gentle, and one of the most sweet-natured judges. So very unusual that there was an exchange between them. It became unpleasant. Actually, the lawyer was my senior, and the judge was also a very close friend in that sense from the bar originally. The former Attorney General of India, K. Parasaran, was briefed in the Supreme Court, and I asked him, I said, Mr. Parasaran, who was right? Was the judge right or was my senior right? He said both were right and both were wrong. I said, how does that make sense? He said, simple. Your senior was absolutely right in what he said, the judge was absolutely wrong. I said, then? He said, but your senior was wrong in reacting the way he did. I said, why, if he was that wrong? He said, remember one thing, and this is what I want to convey to the bar, very seriously. I know you all know it, but it's nice to be reminded. He said, a lawyer looks at his case from one direction, another on the opposite side looks at it from the other direction. The judge tries to see the entire picture. If the judge is perverse, you are entitled to get upset. But if it is only an error in perception, you must allow the judge that error. This is where this mutual respect comes in. Remember, it is necessary to have a strong, independent and fearless judiciary. a strong, independent and fearless judiciary is as important for the bar as it is for any other citizen of the country. I think if it is only a difference of perception, you must support the judiciary, the bar must support the judiciary, and I'm sure it will be reciprocated, always. I know, fortunately, I must say, I was thankful to God that there was no really unpleasant incident, and may it always remain so for the states of Punjab and Haryana and for the rest of the country. With that, Vaheguru Khalsa, Vaheguru Fateh.